is a absolutely stunningly beautiful winter's day, so I thought I would take you along today for a day in my life so you can see exactly what I do, how I do it, and how I go about dealing with all my horses on, a day-to-day basis, as well as the other animals and things that we've got going on here. So yeah, they're all waiting down there for their breakfast, but first of all we got to go and feed the cats. So yeah, I have technically only got one cat. Well, technically I've got two. So when I was first looking for feral cats, somebody I knew had a cat and a litter of kittens on their land. Hi, sweetie. Who were feral. So I took on the mum and one of the kittens. So this here is Smokey. He is the kitten. So they all went and were spayed and neutered and stuff, and I took them on. Sorry, it's a bit of a mess in here. It's a bit of storage. So yeah, I took them on as a bit of just because I wanted them and things like that. And the mum in particular was never going to make a pet. She was very feral. So they both around for about 6 months, and then the mum just disappeared. We don't really know what happened to her. So that was Cinders. Smokey hung around. As you can see, he's really not very feral anymore. So I've not seen Cinders for about 3 years now, which is a real shame because she was lovely. She might still be around. She was very feral, so she probably could have looked after herself quite well, and I've got a little bit of woodland at the bottom of my land, so she may well be living her best life down there. But as it is, we've just got the one, and then I have also inherited a second feral cat. So he turned up. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. So he just lives around here. Nobody owns him. He's very, very worried as well. Good boy. You're okay. But he started to... Yeah, I'm going to get you some food. He started to come in and kick Smokey off his food. So I went and decided that I was going to start feeding him as well. So he's got his own feeding station out here. I'm going to go get it for you. So he's become a long way. He is a lot more friendly than he used to be. Hi. You're so gorgeous. But I can't touch him yet. As you can see, he's very worried about me. He doesn't want to come too close. But yeah, we need a name for him. So anybody has any thoughts or names, let me know. But yeah, I'm going to go get you your breakfast. Yeah? So the cats share a thing of wet food between them, and then they both get a bowl of biscuits as well. Just so that they've always got plenty. Smokey, you're kind of in the way, sausage. 1, 2. And then I carry these outside for Mr. Ginger Cat. Good boy, we're coming. Hey? What a good boy. Good boy. So I tend to stay and crouch with him for a little bit while he's eating, just so that he gets a bit more confident around me, because I'd like to be able to worm and flea him at some point. Good boy. As you can see, he's really, really close now. I'm still not even trying to touch him. I want him super confident with me being this close while he's eating his wet food before I go and start trying to touch him and deflea him and worm him and things like that. But yeah. He's coming along. He's still very worried with anyone but me. And he only comes this close to me because I feed him. And when there's food around. Good boy. But yeah, he's really, really coming along, which I'm super happy with. It's really nice. He's around pretty much every morning. And sometimes I see him in the evenings as well, but not always. They only get biscuits in the evening, so it's a bit less exciting for them. But feeding him out here means Smokey gets a chance to eat his food as well. Hey? Good boy. Good boy. Right, on to the ponies. So I've made a couple of shorts already about what I feed and why. So I won't be getting into too much detail with that today. God, it's all a mess in here. It needs a major clean, as always. So I will just make the feeds up, and I will be back with you when we're heading off down to the ponies. Brilliant. So feeds are all made up ready. Sugar beet is soaking for tomorrow already, because that takes 24 hours. And we will go down and feed the ponies. So just walking down now. The ponies are in the second field at the moment, but they know it's breakfast time, so they've all brought themselves up to the shelters. You can see all of them stood there waiting. So because it's such a lovely day, like it is absolutely gorgeous, blue sky, it's actually quite warm for mid-December. So we're going to give all the ponies a bit of an achy day as well. So we'll come down, I'll put Melon and Ace in their stables, and then feed everyone, put off everyone's rugs, and sort out their paddocks for the day. Hey guys, does that sound like a good plan? Yeah? You all starving? I don't think you are. So we're doing really, really well for grass this year. It's still so mild that the grass hasn't really stopped growing, which is amazing, and we're getting enough sunny days interspersed with the rain that the grass, like everything, is still really, really green. So actually we're not needing to hay at the moment, which is really good. Nobody's hungry, nobody's dropping any weight. They just know it's breakfast time. Yeah? Put you in your stables? Yeah? There we go. So everybody now has their feed. Everybody is eating. Everybody has their rugs off. Hi, baby girl. And yeah, we'll go and do the poo picking while they're eating. So Melon and Ace both get shut in because they get the biggest feeds. And it means that nobody can push them off. Why have you thrown it all over the floor? That's not like you. Silly sausage. And then Zazu gets the next biggest feed. He's the one most likely to kick ponies off. Followed by Akia, who will kick Kit Kat off, and then Kit Kat gets the smallest feed, so she tends to finish first. So this actually works quite well for making sure everybody gets their complete feed. So now we are going to go and shut off the paddock, open the next paddock up, and poo pick the paddock they were in yesterday. So this paddock here is the paddock they've just come out of. I'm just about to shut it off. So as you can see, although the areas they have 24/7 access to, which is around the field shelter and the back here, are a bit muddy. It is, in there in particular, it is all on hardcore, so it's never deep. Out here isn't on hardcore, but it is quite stony underneath. But the actual paddocks themselves hold up really, really well. So they are swapping paddocks daily at the moment. And with 9 paddocks, that means each paddock gets 8 days rest between, so it's working really well. Seems to be keeping enough grass at the moment, but the horses are happy, nobody's skinny, and yeah, so this is really good. So I'm just going to shut this paddock off and then make a decision on which paddock I'm going to open up for them. So this middle paddock is the paddock that, if we're following the strict order of events, they should be moving into. However, I think I'm going to skip it and they can come in that one tomorrow. And I'm going to put them in the smaller one. So the forecast for today is beautiful, and overnight it was dry. So I feel like if they come in here today, they'd be less likely to damage this paddock. Whereas if I put them in here tomorrow, when the forecast is wet and horrible, they're going to trash it, and that's going to leave me a paddock short. So I'm kind of going for, they can have this paddock today and tonight, and then before the real weather hits tomorrow, they can move out and move on to the bigger one, which they're less likely to damage. So this is part of owning your own land and having horses, is you've got to make decisions based on the weather and things like that to try and save as much paddock as you can. But as you can see, they've still got plenty of grass. No, like I say, nobody is hungry, nobody is skinny, so they've still got plenty of grass to eat. But yeah, so I think I'll put them in this paddock while it's dry, and then they can move into the bigger paddock tomorrow, which they're less likely to damage in the rain. So yeah, I'll just open this one up for them. And then the 3 ponies that are loose, once they finish their feed. Oh, Akia's coming already. She knows a paddock's going to be opened up. She's always the first one out, along with Kit Kat usually. But yeah, we'll let these guys out into their paddock. There we go. So all it is just folding the fence back on itself. They've still got access to water, and they've got access to their fields. So while everyone else is finishing their feed, I will go and do the poo picking, which is the least favourite part of my day, but so essential for the horses. So that is wheelbarrow number 1 done. We normally get between 1.5 and 2 wheelbarrows a day from the horses. And then I've got lots of little muck heaps, which you can't really see there, but scattered in corners that I then fence off. And then once it's all rotted down, it'll come back on the middle of these fields in spring, summertime, and be spread so that that can fertilise the fields while the horses are out on the tracks. So yeah, paddock 1. Oh, sorry, wheelbarrow 1. Done. So while I'm poo picking, I'm also keeping an eye out for poisonous plants. So I've not actually poo picked this paddock for a couple of weeks. My friend who owns Zazu has, and you know, sometimes things get missed, and we're also in a massive, the ragwort is still growing like crazy, unfortunately. So we had a really bad year for it this year because we had such a dry summer. So it managed to seed and stuff, and the ragwort doesn't really care if it's dry, whereas the grass wasn't overly happy. So that's all managed to take over, and now it's still warm, it's still growing like mad. So I always come along, try and find it, and then when I find it, we dig it up, so then the horses can't get to it. So I've got this special fork here, which is really good because it gets out all the roots as well, and things like that. This is quite a big one, so I try and go in from all sides to dig it up. This will be easier with 2 hands, so I'll see you guys in a second. So there we go, ragwort all dug up. So obviously ragwort is toxic to horses. Thankfully they don't tend to eat it if they've got enough else to eat, because it's quite bitter. So they don't like it very much as a general rule, but it's still important to take it up because it is really, it spreads really, really quickly. So when we took over these fields, we had a lot of ragwort, particularly in this field and in the third field. The top field wasn't too bad. So we spent a lot of time pulling it before it goes to seed each year to try and reduce the amount we've got. But like I say, this year's been a really bad year for it. The seeds can lay dormant in the soil for quite a long time. So it's quite difficult to make sure that we get it all. So it's going to be probably several more years before we can safely say that we've almost eradicated it. It's never going to be completely gone because obviously the seeds can spread on the wind, but it's just something we make sure we pull regularly. But yeah, so I take my ragwort fork out with me while I'm poo picking and pull up anything I see while I'm out here, just to try and keep the paddocks as ragwort free as possible. Got my little helper here. Hey, Smoky Joe. So yeah, I'll just finish off the poo picking. So the poo picking's done and Ace has been turned out. So now it's time to ride pony number 1, which is Melon. So I need to get him groomed and tacked up, and then we will go out for a hack. Hey, you're a good boy. So Melon's main thing that we're working on at the moment is long and low behaviour. So we have trained this on the ground for a head down. Good. But I want to see what he's now going to offer under saddle for me. Good. So I just want to remind him a little bit of what I'm asking. So when the head goes down, I click and reward him. Good. And like I say, I'm not expecting perfect. I just want to see if he'll offer anything under saddle. Good. So I'm on. So before we go anywhere, I just want to see what he's going to offer. Good. Woohoo. Good boy. Yes. So I'm not after a lot from him. I'm just after him. He dropped that one. That was silly. Just after him giving me a soft down. Good. Woohoo. He wants to get on moving, but I just want him to. Good. I'm making sure I treat him both sides so that we get an even neck stretch. Stand. Yes! Your head disappeared out of the camera. Can we try that once more? Ooh. Good. And again. Yes! So it's not perfect. It wouldn't win us any high marks in a dressage competition, but it's a start. And I'll be working on that as we go round our hack. Okay, so now we've been out and had a little bit of a walk, I'm going to start working on the things that I want to work on with him today. So today I'm trying to work on his contact a bit. So I want him to always be seeking the bit. Because of his conformation, he has a tendency to drop behind the bit and go really, really soft and light in his contact. But that's because he's behind the bit, he's not seeking the bit. So what I am asking for is when I get... So to begin with, I'm working him up in the frame he's happiest with, which is actually quite upright. So I'm making sure he's stepping through from behind. And then when I feel he's in my hand where I want him, good boy. So I want to feel like he is taking the bit, but accepting it at the same time. Yes. I then mark and reward him for that. So we start to get an understanding from him that actually taking the bit itself isn't a bad thing. He's always been one to duck behind it. Like I say, that's just him conformationally. So I'm here with my hands. Good. Because I want to teach him that following the bit is what I want. Because I don't always want him long and low. At times I want him upright. But now we're starting to get that, I will start to lower my hands a little bit and see if he will keep... Good. Keep the same contact, but go down into my hand a bit more. So that we're starting to get the aid, because I want him following that bit. So we're all just kind of working through it. So I'm up, and then I'm lowering and softening my hands and waiting to see if he will take it down and give me still a contact feeling. So there he's lowering, but he's not in my hand, so I'm not going to reinforce that. Come on. And if he's struggling, that's fine. I will pick him back up to where I want, to a competition frame. Just going to stop him here because he doesn't like, good boy. There you go, just got the van. Just wanted to make sure that van had plenty of time to see us. Thank you. So again, lifting him up into a bit more of a contact. So I want him to be feeling the bit, and once I get the feeling I want, we mark, and then we come round and reinforce what I want. So it's important that I'm not just focusing on his head here, I'm also making sure he is stepping through from behind. So then I get him up into a contact, good boy, and then I soften my hands and see if he'll take it forward and down. Come on. Yes. And when I get those slight moments of softness that I want, I mark and reinforce. I want him to understand that is the moment I want. Yes! So that was really good. He really, really felt like he was taking me down then, which was really nice to feel from him. So I'm going to be working on that for 5-10 minutes or so, and then I will come back to you when we get a bit further in the hack and see where we're at from there. Good. So we've been working on it a little bit. Let's see where we're at now. So as you can see, coming upright, he's actually really, really happy and really, really good. Exactly, good boy, where I want him to be. That's always been, something he's been very good at. Good boy. And I'm able to keep my hands up, and I'm able to pop him into a trot. and keep the contact I want and maintain it. Good. Without him changing his frame too much, which is really, really good for him. Good. So super happy with that. And then we need to do a little bit of work on our stretching. Good boy. So I always start that off in the frame he's happiest with. Good. And I give him a keep going signal, which is his good, basically. Because, yeah, that's what I want, but you're not going to get rewarded for it just yet. Good. Good. And then I lower and soften my hands. Good. Yes. And then I click. So I'm not asking for very much of that because he does find it really, really hard. It takes a lot of brain power and a lot of muscle for him to do that. So whilst in the upright frame, I can ask for a bit more and a bit longer because he has the muscle to support that. He doesn't yet have the muscle to support the long and low for long periods of time. So again, slightly more upright. Good. Good. And then soften. Good. Again. Good. Yes. So we can manage about 4 or 5 steps at a time at the moment, which again, super happy with. And I'm going to get one more out of him, and then I'm going to give him his complete relaxation symbol so he can have a couple of minutes breather without having to work at all. So again, coming upright. Good. Steady. Good. Good. And then we come down. Good. Well done. And then mark and reward. Okay, we've got a large vehicle coming, which he will be absolutely fine with if I can tuck in. Thankfully, this pony is an absolute godsend when it comes to traffic. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, thank you so much. Good boy, baby. Well done. He's not too bad, but thank you. Good boy. So I'm just going to keep contact with him, just in case. There we go, because they were going to start their engine back up. Good. Good. So I want him to feel like I'm still there. And then I go, all done, all free. And let him have a nice stretch so he doesn't have to worry about any sort of contact for a minute. So that is one pony all ridden and all untacked. I'm just about to stretch him out. I won't include all his stretches in this video, but if there is enough interest, I can do a video onto all the stretches I do after work and why and how good they are for them and things like that. But I will just get his stretches done and then turn him out and get pony number 2 in for a ride. So that is Melon all ridden, stretched and turned out. As it's such a beautiful day, he is going to go out naked. So I've let him go, which I probably shouldn't have done in the mud, but hopefully, as you can see, they've got a nice field to go to. Hopefully he'll choose, if he's going to have a roll, he will do it in the field, not in the mud. Hi! So now I'm going to go and grab Ace to give her a little bit of work. And yeah, we'll take her out and go for a ride and do some work with her. And you can see what I'm working on with her out hacking. Oh, Melon's found the grass. Straight down and eating. Very, very typical of him. So here we are on pony number 2. Steady, sweetie. So I work with her differently to how I work with Melon. I still use a lot of positive reinforcement with her. In some ways I use more, but for her in particular, good girl, she needs her confidence building more than anything else. So Melon, although is the more nervous pony of the two, Sorry, I can hear something. I'm not sure if it's a train or a car. I think it's a train, so that's all right. So although, yes, technically she is the more confident of the two in herself, she doesn't actually look to her rider for confidence. So Melon, girl, Melon very quickly came round to the idea that I was his safe space. Good girl, you're okay. Good. Whereas Ace here wants to be independent. She wants to do things on her own terms, which is great, but it means that she doesn't come to me when she's worried. And so that means that she focuses more on her own feelings and not on the feelings of the rest of the herd. It's probably also not helped by the fact that she is likely to become the lead mare at some point in the next few years, without wanting to be horrid. Akia is going to be 26 next year, I think. So, you know, she's getting on a bit. I can see in the herd she is stepping back from her lead mare kind of things. And Ace is the next in line, realistically. Obviously, Zazu is herd leader, very much herd leader. A little bit of a bullish herd leader, whereas Akia's always led with a bit more, I don't know, a bit kinder. But, you know, she's already stepped back a little bit and let Zazu take over, but she is still, of the three mares, the lead mare, very much so. The herds do require a lead mare, really. It's not just a lead horse, they do have a lead mare, along with, like, in wild and feral populations, it would be a lead mare, followed by, and a stallion. So Zazu has taken on the stallion role, which is fine, because I don't think Melon would have wanted it. But Akia is currently in that lead mare role. However, like I say, she is starting to step back from that role. You can see it in the herd dynamics. That's just because she's getting older, she's getting on a bit, and so the role has kind of landed on Ace. Now, she is only 4, and that would be a lot for a 4-year-old to take on, but unfortunately I don't have room for like a mid-teens mare to come and take that role, so unfortunately Ace is just going to have to accept that role, whether she wants to or not, within reason. But so that is another reason, I think, good girl, why she feels like she needs to be confident, be on the lookout all the time, and not like look to the others so much. She needs to do things on her own terms, so she doesn't look to me. So what I do with her is I'm literally just sitting here, I'm not asking for anything, I'm just letting her figure it out herself as we plod along, so she can figure things out. And I will click and reward her for any kind of behaviours that I like and that I want to see more of. So yeah, we're just coming along. Good. So there we had a little bit of a relaxation, a head down. So that is what I'm going to mark and reinforce her for. So this is basically my rides with her at the moment when I'm out hacking. Like I say, I'm not looking for anything particular. I'm just kind of plodding along, and when I get behaviour from her that I like and want to see more of, whether that's engaging more from behind, accepting the contact more, being confident in a situation that she's a bit worried about, trusting in me, anything like that, I am going, yep, that is behaviour I want, that is behaviour I want more of, mark and reinforce. So we're going to go down, as we've had a lot of rain, we're going to go and play in a local puddle. So we don't have really any water training near us. You know, I can simulate jumps and stuff across country, but water is a bit trickier. So as we've had a lot of rain, there is one place I know that has a big puddle. So we're just going to go and play in that for a little bit, and then we'll come home. So I'll see you guys in a bit. So we've gone on a slightly different route today because I want to go and play in this puddle. Good girl. But as soon as we turned away from her usual route, so because she's been a bit worried about traffic, I've done a lot of work with her just on a really little route where the roads are nice and wide and I know there's plenty of passing places, just to get her confidence up again with traffic. But now she's a lot more confident in traffic again. I am starting to take her out a bit elsewhere, but I can feel as soon as I take her off that route, good girl, she does become a lot more tense, which, you know, is totally natural. I've built up her confidence on the one route, but I need to build up her confidence on all the routes now. So we're just coming along here on a slightly different route. Like I say, I want to go and play with the puddle, or play in the puddle, I should say, just so that she gets a little bit of confidence with that. And I'm letting her, I'm not particularly worried which side of the road she's on. I've only literally got one hand on the reins, as you can see, like literally one hand, not really doing anything, just letting her, just going, hey, can you go forwards? Good girlie. As you can see, when I'm talking to her, we're not even really getting any ear flicks back to me. She's not really focused on me. She's focused on what's going on out there, which is fine. But I would like her to check in with me a bit more. So I'm just keeping an eye on once we get, hey, good. So we got a little ear flick back to me. So I'm going to mark and reinforce that because she chose to check in with me while I was talking to her. And that's what I want. I want her to feel like I've got her back, and actually when it's the two of us out here, she doesn't need to take on that lead mare role. Like, I will take on that role for her. Good girl. And I will be her confidence when she needs it. I say that she's very different. She's very different to work with than Melon, because like I say, Melon has always taken his confidence from the people and the riders and other horses and things like that, whereas she isn't. She is much more independent. Good girlie. Good. She is much more independent and wants to be independent, but I do need her to understand that actually we are a team in this situation. Good. So I need her to understand that actually I've got her back too, as long as she has my back. And we are a team, and actually neither of us are particularly, like I say, I want her to get her confidence from me, obviously, because, good girl. So she's a little bit worried. She gets quite worried by gateways. I think on when the roads are kind of a bit narrow, she knows nothing's going to jump out at her. But in the gateway, she's always a bit more like, oh, I'm not sure what's there. Good. So I was happy then she chose to walk forwards of her own accord. You're going to take... Steady. I want you to take a biscuit. But I don't want her just like running past. Good. I want her like processing what she's at. Good. There you go. I want her, processing, not just scooting past because she knows she needs to go forwards. Walk on. Good. Now we had a little bit of a head soften, so I will mark and reinforce that because that is what I want. So as well as that, I'm using a lot of classical conditioning with her. So with Melon, what you saw was a lot of operant conditioning where I rewarded specific behaviours. With her, I'm working on more classical conditioning and going, hey, you're worried, that's fine, have treats, to bring that down. I will do a video at some point, good girlie, about the difference between classical and operant conditioning, and other forms of training horses and things like that, just because they are words that will come up in my videos quite a lot. But yeah, so this is the puddle. Good. And we've got a little bit of wind today as well, so it is moving a bit. We're not turning and running. That's not the deal. That's the clicker. And I also know that she finds this temporary sign a little bit worrying. Oh, we just dropped it. Good. Go this way. So I'm just asking her to stay where I want her to. Good! So the whole time we are just working on her confidence and her feeling happy and relaxed. So obviously the sign is blowing a little bit today, which isn't overly helpful. But that's fine. And although she's trying to take the treat, she's not being overly careful about taking them, so I know she is a little bit more worried than she was. Good girlie. But I'd like to see if we can go up and touch it. So I always want her to be facing up to things she's worried about. Good girl. I don't want her... Oh, that was a bit funny, wasn't it? Good girl. Good girl. Well done. And a treat. So the deal is she's not just turning and running. We can stand, we can look. Can we go a bit closer? Good girl. Oh, there we go. Now there's horses. Yes, there's horses over there, isn't there? Like I say, at no point do I want her just to spin and run away. That is not kind of the option. I would quite like her to feel like she can touch it, so she does have a target. Good girl. Good girl. Steady. But I'm not sure we're going to get that from her today, and that's fine. Oh, it is a bit windy to ask her for that. Good. There is a car coming that I would like to see us. Good. So we're just kind of walking back to our puddle now. We're going to walk back through it and then go home. So actually I was really pleased with how she coped there with that vehicle. So electric vehicles are something she does struggle with. I think it's because they make a different noise. So unfortunately when she got herself in a bit of a state with traffic, we just had one really, really unlucky ride, I think. So we had a van come around a corner a bit too quickly and spook her, because again it was that corner we were just at there, came around a bit too quickly and kind of skidded in the puddle, which spooked her. It wasn't really that close, but it was just obviously spooked her a little bit. But just as I'd chilled her out and calmed her down, we then ended up in a situation with a couple of electric cars coming past her in quite narrow spaces, which I think also then spooked her a little bit because they weren't making the noise she was expecting. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Followed then by a couple of cyclists who just came past us really quickly. Good girl. Good girl. So it was just really one really unfortunate ride, and it just all kind of freaked her out and spooked her a bit. So actually I'm really pleased with how she coped with that van, because that's the first van she's seen since then. Well, she's seen other vans when I've been out with other horses, but the first van on her own. And like I say, that didn't sound like a normal vehicle. I think it was probably an electric vehicle. So it wasn't sounding exactly like she was expecting either, and I could feel her really tense up. But she was quite happy, she trotted along. So yeah, super, super pleased with that. So because I'm super happy with that, I've decided to cut my water training a bit shorter. So the thing is with Ace, it's always ending on a confident note with her. I want her to feel happy and confident at all times when we're out training. And if that means cutting things short, that's fine. But because she coped so well with the van, and she actually coped well with the water, and she coped well with the sign, I don't want to overflow her. So she has quite a low threshold, like a stress threshold. And all of those things will have slowly added up, and I want her to feel like she can come back down now, and so I don't want to be out any longer to push her, good girl, push her significantly over that stress threshold. I want her to be able to still feel really confident. And I'm not riding her for her fitness, I'm just riding her for her confidence and her feeling like that. Like, I don't care how long we're out for, we can be out for 5 minutes. Good girl. If that gets us what we want, then that is amazing. So that is what we're doing. So we're now just heading back, nice and chilled, letting her figure herself out, figure her feet out, and I will join you when we're a bit closer to home. So we're heading back now, we're nearly home. She's done really well, we've had a nice relaxing, good girl I say as we hit there, but we've had a nice relaxing plod back, despite the fact the wind's getting up a bit. Good girl. I've been making sure to continue to reinforce behaviours I like, behaviours I want to see more of. So that's a little bit of long and low, that's a little bit of accepting the contact, that's a little bit of moving off my leg, that's a little bit of stepping through from behind. So like I say, for her, I'm just looking at shaping the entire behaviour I want still. I'm not focusing on one specific thing. Good girl. I'm instead focusing on the whole picture. I find that works best with young horses, in that you kind of go, hey, this is kind of the general picture I want, and then once you've got the general picture, more often than not, then you can start going, yes, that picture is what I want, but can you do this a bit more and focus a bit more? So Melon understands the concept of going off my leg, he understands the concept of stepping through from behind, he understands the concept of accepting the bit, because I worked with him like this. And now I can shape specific parts that little bit more for him, whereas she's still at the stage where I'm kind of trying to shape the whole behaviour into what I want. So yeah, but overall super happy with her. She's felt really confident despite the few little hiccups we've had, which weren't that bad. She has actually felt really quite confident, which is all I want from her really. So we're nearly back now, so I'll take her back, untack her and turn her out. We'll have a look, see whether Melon's had a roll, and then it's lunchtime for me. There we go, there Ace has gone for a drink. Everyone turned out. I think I'm going to go up and grab some lunch, and then we will come down and do some grooming of Akea and Squit. So I try and give those guys a groom kind of once a week, if not twice. Quee, nicely. I try and do it as often as I can, but minimum once a week, just because, you know, they live out, they're naked, I don't want to take all their oils out of their coats, but equally I want them to feel, you know, confident and loved. Akea particularly, because she doesn't do anything. Kit Kat does go out long reining, but the others all have a nice groom at various times, so I try and do them a little bit more. I'm going to get some lunch and then we'll come down and do that. So I've had my lunch and I'm coming down now to do some grooming for Kit Kat and Akea. So obviously Zazu isn't mine, so he gets brushed by his mum when she comes down. She's coming down later today as well, so she will do him then. But I'm just coming down to do the other two. So I give them a really good brush over, pick out their feet, check everything over, make sure we got no cuts or bruises or anything. This time of year as well, it's also really helpful to check for things like lice. We've not really got any here at the moment, but it doesn't hurt just to have a look and things like that. So, oh, Melon, you look like you've had a roll. Lovely. You're not being brushed, you'll get your rug back on in a minute. But so I'm going to start off with Akea, who is absolutely revolting. The beauty of her colour is it's not that obvious until you get close. But I mean, look at that. You are grim. Okay, I'll catch her up and give her a brush. So there is Akea all brushed and clean. So grooming is not her favourite pastime, so she is kind of done with it now, and also I have Zazu behind me. But yeah, so nothing to worry about there. Couldn't see anything obvious, no wounds or anything like that. Her feet are still looking really good. So yeah, I can release her. She's now pulling faces because little Squit is here ready for her turn. But yeah, we'll get on to grooming little Squit. So little Squit is actually not too filthy. She's just all a bit curly from where she got wet. And obviously needs her feet picking out, but so I will get on to do her. Because of her age as well, I also check her teeth just to make sure her caps are coming out properly and things like that. So I'll show you when I get to that bit, but I'll give her a brush and show you what she looks like when she's done. And pony number 2 all brushed and clean-ish. So yeah, these guys I literally just brush with a hairbrush and a magic brush. I don't want to be taking all the oils and stuff out of their coats as they live out naked. So they need all those oils for their waterproofing and stuff, but just giving them a quick brush. But Kit Kat's coat is so thick. I mean, look at it. It's ridiculous. So she is brushed. I actually have to brush her body with the hairbrush as well to get right down to her skin because the magic brush just doesn't. But yeah, so she's now looking all nice and clean. Again, nothing to worry about in there. No signs of lice, which is really, really good. Like I say, we're a closed herd, so in theory we shouldn't be getting any lice. But you never know, never hurts to check. And yeah, picked out her feet. Given her a poofy mane a good brush. Like I say, she's surprisingly clean, surprisingly white. But she's there. We are also pretending this head collar fits her. It's Akea's head collar. I only brought the one down and I thought, put it on the smallest toes, it'll fit Squit. It's a little bit big still, but it's functioned for the job I need it to do. It's not like it's staying on her. But now I will release her and rug up the 3 that need rugging. Hey, baby girl. Look at you. You're so cute. I love her colour, guys. It makes me chuckle so much every time. So she is a bay dun, but she also has white patterns. So you can see, standing, You can see her dun stripe there, her primitive dun stripe going through her tail, which shows that she is a dun. But then I love that you got the white patches that completely obscure it. But it's this bit here that makes me chuckle. It's more obvious in the summer, but there's just like half a black stripe there covered by the white. It just makes me chuckle every time I see it. Hey, but you're a good girl really, aren't you? Hey, toe rag? Hey? Right, I'll release her and go and get the rugs and rug up the 3 that need rugging for the night. So there we go, that is the 3 ponies rugged. So we've had some rug changes tonight just because of the weather and also because of clips growing out and things. So Zaz is in the same rug he's always in, he just needs a rain sheet. He's absolutely fine in cold, he just doesn't cope very well with getting wet. So he just needs something to keep his back dry really. Even though he's clipped, he's not clipped along his back. So it's not really a problem for cold for him. Like I say, it's more just to keep his back dry. And then Melon, I have swapped into his 20-gram rug. I love this rug. So this is from Mud Rugs. So it's a 20-gram. So it's a bit more waterproof than a sheet. But it still acts basically like a sheet. So Melon's clip is pretty much grown out now. He needs reclipping again for about the 4th time this year. Hey! So I've just popped him in his 20 because obviously don't be horrible, where his clip hasn't quite completely grown back, he won't have the guard hairs needed, so he still needs something on, especially if it's going to rain. But he can cope with something a bit lighter and then he'll go back into his 100-gram once I have clipped him. So I'm hoping to do that next week. At the moment I've got a couple of dry days coming next week, so he will have that one on then. And then Ace is still in a 100-gram body, but I'm gonna have to have a look and not look too closely because I don't like the fact they don't match. But I've put the 20-gram neck on her rug, so she is still actually quite obviously clipped, although it is growing out. But she is also a pony that does lose a lot of weight in the winter if she gets cold, which I don't want her to really lose anymore. So I've kept her in a 100-gram and just put on the 20-gram neck. Also, I don't really want her clip growing out because she's getting chilly at the moment, because like I say, she'll be going on a break in a couple of weeks, so I don't want to have to clip her again before then. But equally, I need her to stay cool enough in the ridden work for the next few weeks until she does go on her break. So I felt this was a fairly good compromise. Now, the 20-gram neck is only there to stop the rain running down the front more than anything. We are due some rain tonight. Otherwise, I'd just have it without the neck, but she doesn't really need the 100-gram neck on. But yeah, so that's everybody settled for the night. Like I say, my friend is coming up later, so she will do the final check, but I am leaving them now because I've got to go to the feed store and get some feed for everyone ready for the Christmas period, because obviously they won't be open over Christmas. So yeah, that is a day up at the horses. Like I say, I would normally be here a little bit later than this, but I've got to go and get feed and someone can come up and do the final checks later. That makes life easier. Oh, Ace is having a drink. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed spending the day with me, seeing what I get up to with all my horses. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Take care, bye!